Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning to everybody. It is indeed a great pleasure and honor to be virtually with all of you today. I really would like to start today's session with the passing an appreciation message to the organizer, OITE, for their well-organized virtual exhibition and seminar, and that's fully about the digital transformation that's happening in the country in different sector. However, today I'm going to talk more about a subject, and then also my colleagues will be talking about different subjects, starting from today, tomorrow, and day after, as part of the Banking and Fintech Zone seminar, virtual seminar, that as part of the COMEX exhibition 2021 for the first time. So it is, organizing such events will always, support the journey of the digital transformation, I would say, in the country, and raising awareness and knowledge sharing, exchanging experiences. It also promotes Oman's position and vision in terms of supporting the developments of the digital banking, digital payments, financial technologies, digital transformation of the banking and the financial sector in cooperation with all stakeholders in these fields, which will also, help us to obtain different opinions, different experiences, different feedback from the subject matter experts, from others as well in terms of development. I'm quite sure that such platforms, virtual platforms, seminars will always facilitate, in sharing experiences, interact with others in different topics, and challenges that we could collectively come with the solutions, So today, through my speech, I'll be talking about the fintech framework and ecosystem in the country, and we will address the following agenda. So I'll just quickly define financial technologies, and the understanding of the financial technology, and then I'll just give a quick, global fintech framework overview and developments. And then I'll talk about our vision and the objectives, and then finally the fintech ecosystem. And then finally, at the end, I'll just give, sort of closing keynotes. So before we come into the definition of fintech, the evolution of digitalization in the banking and financial sector over the past couple of years had led to new opportunities. But at the same time, I always say that opportunities doesn't come for free. It comes with some risks, which the collectively all stakeholders need to address them in the sector. So the need of digitization, innovation, financial technology has been a key pillar and topic in many strategies of major banks, financial institutions, locally, regionally, globally, and that, by the way, even before the pandemic hits the sector. So the technology has developed and keep developing, and it has raised, has been raised in customer expectation, customer engagements, customer demands, and also pressure, that comes from the customer expectations. It's changing with a high, ratio or percentage of the youth ages in the country's population. It always puts a pressure on adopting emerging technologies, and also it creates sort of a higher competition within the sector, not only in Oman, but also in the region and the world. Despite it has been an incredible, I would say, transformation of many, I would say, banks and financial institutions, but they still have moved nearly all their interactions with the customer, digitally. We still see that fintechs has shown that what is possible, and that all banks would need a digital plan. So digital transformation, innovations, development have become one of the most important pillars of all sectors, including the financial and banking sector, and had played a very crucial role in supporting the financial, banking developments towards future, especially during the pandemic. There is more need for them to survive during this is exceptional, I would say, disruption that is happening due to the pandemic. So that's why we can see that a lot of organizations, financial and banking organizations, they have innovation and digitization as part of their key elements of any of their business models and a key pillar of their corporate strategies and implementation. And by the way, it has to be on their top priorities, because innovation is indeed a value proposition, to the financial sector, especially in the financial technology sector. So the impressive developments of financial technology services, and emerging, I would say, companies had led to, improve, of course, in productivity, customer engagement, efficiency in the financial services. We started to see different financial services, different products, different customer engagements. Tomorrow, I'll be also talking quickly about AI in banking and financial sector, which is part of the 2nd of June session. That's part of the COMEX conference. And I will have a good number of speakers. 5 speakers will talk also more deep on the AI in the banking and financial sector. So it helps also, in simplifying the banking and financial operations. So fintech or financial technology, digitization, innovation is not only at the front end, but it's also the middle operation and the back end also, operations. So that's why regulators, policymakers should always, support these sort of innovations, but at the same time, they have to balance between the innovation, between the innovation and the financial stability and the monetary stability to maintain a healthy and resilient banking and financial system. So that's why regulators try to balance, and we also try to balance without compromising the innovation. And that's happening through different means, like collaborations in the market with different stakeholders to maximize the benefits between the stakeholders. We can see there are good percentage of collaboration between existing players and the new entrants in the market, and this collaboration will always have its own added value, and this is something very important. So coming back to what is fintech, so fintech globally, there is no standard definition, I would say, but different organizations, different entities define fintech in a different way. And here we can see that fintech defined by the Financial Stability Board, for example, as an enabled innovation in financial services that could result in new business models, application, processes, products, because it's also helped on the certain processes that banks or existing players do, with an associated materials effect on the provision of financial services. We define it, to be very honest, as utilizing innovative technologies, in providing, I would say, different financial and banking services, which will be reflected in providing new financial and banking products, services, and processes. Looking into the global overview or outlook, we can see, looking into the Deloitte, for example, reports that was issued in December 2020, we can see that there is the global fintech revenue is still growing, and the growth is still there, starting from 2017 up to 2024, with the forecast of reaching to, I would say, of 11.7, I would say, CAGR. Of the compound annual, growth rates. Of course, it is very important to note that each market has its own market demand and supply. So each market has a different priorities, different needs, which would drive the developments and advancements of financial technology and digitization. It very much depends on the market size, on other enablers such as infrastructure readiness, technology readiness, laws and regulation, and so on. Okay, but we can see that fintech is in advanced stage in some regions and is still on an early stage in some jurisdictions, which could notice that there is a considerable uncertainties in some areas. Also, looking into the same report that was issued by Deloitte on the brink of further disruption, we can still see that the global fintech, during 2018, for example, we're about 92 billion in 2018, and we're expected to grow to reach 188 billion euro, in 2024. Of course, this is pre the COVID-19 forecast. Okay, and that's here what we can see in the EMA region, for example. We can observe that there is a decline in the fintech deal activities, and that's because, of course, a strong decline in Europe, potentially caused by COVID-19. Also, looking into the Global FinTech Index report of 2019, 96% of global consumers are aware, of at least one of their money transfer and payment fintech services. And this is an extremely high percentage. 74% of the global customers use at least one of these financial technology services, and 33% of the global consumers use fintech services. All these figures, looking into all these figures, give us an indication on the growth or the fast growth that is happening in the region. Looking into the amount of investment that is happening in Europe and Middle East and Africa, it's been recorded of a $4.6 billion in the first half of 2020, sorry. And also this is as per the KPMG report. KPMG report also have highlighted in 2019, global investment in fintech company hits $135.7 billion with almost 2,693 deals. These are all indications, but why what are the reasons behind this global move of the market? Of course, before I go to the GCC, there's high investment in technology-based solutions by the banks, infrastructure-based technologies, the enablement of APIs. It is reshaping the future of financial services. Financial technology companies also, are delivering lower cost sort of services, and they come with a competitive advantage of, I would say, personalized products and services that meet the customer expectations. Looking also into the region that we are part of it, the GCC, for example, we see there is very great serious steps to support the acceleration of development in the sector. And that's either through having, for example, new regulations, policies that could, say, a forward thinking of an approach of regulation, more of an agile regulation. Also, for example, looking into the building and enhance, the infrastructure, for example. Of course, in Oman, we have a number of payment infrastructure projects that are in the pipeline and that have been settled, and some of them have been completed, and some of them are on the pipeline. My colleague Ali Jabri, head of payment system department, will have his presentation on 3rd of June, and he will also cover I would say, the digitization of payment digitizations in Oman. And also, part of that, also we can see that many I would say, countries in the GCC, they have started their incubation and acceleration programs, such as innovation hubs. And this is something also Central Bank of Oman is exploring now, with establishing, exploring how we could establish a fintech innovation hub. And also fintech regulatory sandbox. We can see majority of GCC countries, or all of them now, they have launched their fintech regulatory sandbox framework. The same things happen in Oman, for example. Back on December 2020, we have released our fintech regulatory sandbox, with an objective to support innovation in the sector. And we have a good number of applications are received. And also my colleague Ghada Al-Kharousi, tomorrow she's having a presentation on the fintech regulatory sandbox and all the details about the fintech regulatory sandbox, and what are the advantages, eligibility criteria, and so on. Also, many countries, they started working on open banking APIs. The same thing here in Oman, we are working internally on drafting and developing an open banking API strategy for the sector. And finally, digitizing the onboarding, and this is something also we are also exploring and working on it. So still we have big potential for opportunities in the sector, and we are trying to catch up with all the market. Our vision is to have a dynamic digital financial ecosystem that fosters financial development, thus providing sustainable support to competitive and diversified economic sector in the Sultanate through innovation. Our primary objective or role here is to facilitate, new enablers, frameworks, and our objective is to work on establishing a comprehensive and nurturing fintech ecosystem in Oman. Of course, we do have a fintech ecosystem in Oman in certain pillars, but we still have to work on the others at the Central Bank of Oman within our, of course, mandates to support, that the underpinning emerging technologies and innovations and development that is happening in the sector. So our priorities, as I said, our priorities plan is for the development and enhancement of innovation in the financial sector in Oman, keeping in mind that there is a rapid strides that the sector has been making globally and regionally, and our continuous contribution to the financial inclusion and overall economic growth. So we make sure that whatever initiatives we work on them, we are trying to make them aligned or somehow in sync with the national strategy, of course, of Oman 2040, which focus on a number of national priorities. We make sure we enable and support the national priority of economic diversification, financial, physical sustainability, supporting SMEs and entrepreneurs, and especially, of course, particularly who are based on innovation and advanced technology. So, looking into our objectives, we work on creating more of a direct and indirect economic growth, increasing economic activity, generate economic growth through enabling the opportunities and demand, which we believe it will support and promote the establishment of more players in the market, maybe in collaboration also with the existing players. Also, we through these initiatives, we would creating a demand. That means we'll have more of an indirect and direct job creation, and also we will work on enhancing the financial inclusion, capitalizing the local talent. The local talent is one of the important things for the country, so we need to capitalize on those local talents, by having a proper, I would say, setup for them to innovate. Also, we want to make sure that we maintain the financial stability, and having sort of I would say, promoting ethical and healthy competition in the market, and while promoting the market credibility and integrity. And also through different projects, initiatives, we also promote society to be with less cash, and also attracting investments, international investments, local investments, to have more of a venture capital and angel investments in the country which support these innovations. So again, for any framework, for any ecosystem, we need to base it on a certain, I would say, competitive advantage. So we are basing it on 5 important competitive advantages, I would say. The healthy and resilient banking sector, the alhamdulillah financial and political stability of the country, the robust payment and infrastructure that we are having in Oman throughout the 15 years of hard work of the central bank in building this infrastructure. More than 48%, I would say, of Omanis are young, so they are going to be Generation Z, the techie savvy, that they're looking for a new innovative way. Strong network telecommunication infrastructure is one of the competitive advantages that we have. So this is our plan of our, not plan, it's already, some of them already started to be executed, I would say. Oman Fintech ecosystem, which we think of having 4 important beams: policies, infrastructure, talent, demands, that are supported by 7 pillars. And we are focusing on these, I would say these boxes at this stage, and then gradually we'll move toward the others. But the growth of fintech in Oman will be primarily driven by this, I would say, ecosystem. And it's going to be, of course, in collaboration and cooperation with different stakeholders, partners, players, and we are going to focus on major aspects in the next few years: the adoption of dynamic law and regulation by regulators, and which we believe it will play an important role in supporting the development in fintech and the banking digitization in the local market, plus to attract global and regional investments, venture capital to the market, which will eventually support the economic growth and creation of demand. And of course, it will support the growth of new fintech startups, or more of a collaboration between the fintech startups and SMEs and the existing financial institutions. Also, the development, I would say, of the infrastructure that will accommodate the innovation. Okay, so to make sure that the operations are smooth and support the infrastructure, support the innovations that could happen in the market. The development and engagement of national innovative talents. We focus on attracting new talents from the local market, capitalizing on the existing talents in the local market, retaining these local talents in the existing market, and that's why we are exploring the establishment of Fintech Innovation Hub. That's a sort of an acceleration and the incubation program. The support of collaboration between education and academia is one of our important topics also in the company as a central bank, to make sure that we can also have, addressing certain the gaps could happen between the market needs with the evolution that's happening and the graduates and the skill sets and so on. And of course, the attraction of considerable and sustainable sort of an investment. And this could happen through multiple ways, either locally or globally. So we're working on, we have drafted internally our fintech development framework and roadmap, the fintech regulatory sandbox that are already being issued. We have a number of applicants already there in the pipeline of evaluation and selection. We do have, of course, other initiatives that we are working with one of the educational institution on certain program, and many other initiatives, open banking API strategy and others, to make sure that we can meet the demand that is happening and the evolution that is happening around us. So to conclude, there are many opportunities, I would say, in the sector. So in addition, there are many risks. So we have to balance, as I said, between the both. Competition there, but still I can see more of a collaboration between the traditional and I would say the existing players and the new entrants. I think we are adopting a balanced approach in terms of effective oversights, scope and reach of financial services, while at the same time, safeguarding the customer protection, financial stability, of course, without, putting, I would say, burdens on the innovations in this space of the financial services. I just try to be short and brief about what we are doing, what is the framework, what is the ecosystem. If you have any questions, of course, I'm available on LinkedIn. You can always reach me out, and I'll try to address as much as I can. Is there else I can? Is there anything I can help you with? Is there any questions? By the way, okay, clear. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much, and we'll see you. I think we have another session today, another two more sessions today. So I wish you a lovely day with these two sessions. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.